you did, it's how you live. Oh, wherever you are and wherever you've been, now is the time to begin. So give to the needy and pray for the grieving, even when you don't think that you can. 'Cause all that you do is bound to come back to you. So think of your fellow man and make peace with God and make peace with yourself. Oh yeah, 'cause in the end there's nobody else. Turn up the music, turn it up loud, take a few chances to let it all out, 'cause you won't regret it, looking back from where you have been. 'Cause it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you live. 'Cause it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you
Well, that just explains a lot, doesn't it? Angelita Teresa Fillmore, born October 2nd, 1940 in Salinas, California. I did not know that. We share the same birthday. She is a few years older than, she started teaching when I was born. She was born in Salinas, California. I was born in Sacramento, California. That explains why we had a little bit of kindred spirit. It says, the morning of my birth, the church bells were pealing and celebrating the day of the Feast of the Guardian Angels. God must have realized that I would need much help in my life. But the most important aspects of my life are my personal religious connection with God, love of family, friends, students, and colleagues, be they professional or students, love of nature and all kinds of animals. Humor and the ability to laugh at one's foibles have elicited many tears. Laughter is so contagious and so very good for the soul. And most importantly, music has always been an important part of my life. Music has helped me through the good times and the tough times. As a child, I was reared in the Roman Catholic religious life, and this early influence shaped my religious upbringing and early thoughts about God and His works. From a very early age, I realized that there were God's laws and there were man's laws. God's laws are the guiding steps that I needed throughout my life. To do His will, even though many times it seemed to me that I was not quite in step with His plan for me. The earliest miracle was bestowed upon my mother. I had completed a novena. I was always told that the prayers of the children were the strongest of intercessions, and I instinctively knew that my prayer would be heard and answered, for my mother had tuberculosis. I was to have an operation to remove a sizable portion of her lung. The morning of her scheduled surgery, the doctors decided to obtain a new set of x-rays. Upon looking at the pictures, they noticed that sizable amount of the infected area was dramatically decreased and that surgery was not needed. My mother recovered and I was allowed to live with her again. Even at an early age, I was taught God had a plan or a vocation for me to follow. Mine was to become a teacher. And during this time, I was gifted with many wonderful children who taught me lessons of humility, trust, devotion, and love every day I was in or out of the classroom. They filled me with pride, and in the case of many students, they became colleagues of mine. Yes, I've had my share of honors that would have not been possible if it were not for my students. There are but a few that have been a result of the passion and love that I had for this vocation of teaching and the many students that have touched me. Mentor for new student teachers, instructor, teacher of teachers, nominated 5 years for the Jefferson Award for Volunteerism, Extra Mile Award from the Chamber of Commerce. I have strived to instill in my students that their talents must be shared. I'm going to say that again because I think it's very important. I have strived to instill in my students that their talents must be shared. My own children, Julia, Timothy, taught me lessons that every mother needs to learn. Love, patience, endurance, humility, listening without judgment, humor. And of all the many memories that they have, I would think that Sunday dinners would have stood out. On Sundays, we would have formal dinners, complete with all the plates, silverware, glasses, napkins, centerpieces, and I believe we saw some pictures of that. And yes, we dressed up for these formal dinners. Every Sunday, a member of our family would choose the menu, and it was during these times that everyone practiced good table manners and learned how and when to use the items and place setting. My Sunday menu was always the same: chicken. The eating of fried chicken is dictated by the hostess. One may eat chicken with her fingers or may follow the hostess and eat fried chicken with a knife and a fork. As the head of the table, we very seldom ate this dish with our fingers, and wouldn't you know it, the one time I elected to pick up the chicken and eat it with my fingers, there was a nasty scene of mutiny at the table. And I must say that even though these dinners started out very formally, they usually ended up with a quick downhill slide as our conversations usually erupted into uncontrollable laughter and complete disarray. Love of being involved in nature through camping and fishing and hunting, or just sitting quietly listening to the music of nature, was very soothing. Made-up campfire stories were the highlights of our outings, and the trees being the elders looking down upon us to protect us. The howling branches would have shaken and quaking us. They'd have shaken and quaking in our sleeping bags. Making of s'mores was always a highlight of our camping experience, aside from swatting the mosquitoes and this fly that keeps flying around me right now. They were always looking for freebie meals, usually feasting on poor Tim and myself. Fishing was always a treat, and out of self-defense, Carl taught me how to fish from a float tube, just to let me float to my heart's content. Carl didn't have to worry about the errant fishing lure and the tack mode. Blaze, saw pictures of Blaze. My steed taught me many lessons about sweating the small stuff. Who's in control? He knew that he had a clueless city gal on his back, and that his role was to be my protector, and many times he did just that. Together we explored the beautiful South Hills and many of the trails north of Sun Valley. We would sit quietly and watch large herds of deer, and even be within a horse's length, just enjoying their close presence while riding a favorite trail. I have been very blessed to have wonderful mentors and experiences in my life. My children, husband, and good friends were all the glue that keeps me grounded while honoring my creativity and occasionally zipping from A to Z. Life has been very good to me, and I now am ready to go. I'm ready to let go of this earthly life and take this next step with great joy. The circle of life continues. And she says, by his grace and in his name I play. Psalm 33:3. Sing to him a new song, play skillfully on the strings with loud shouts of great joy. This time Tim is going to come and share some memories from the family.